G'day viewers. Well, I had my little rants about bigotry online, and I promised I'd do a semi-serious wrap-up where I talk about how I think you can deal with it on an individual level, and this is it. Last time I deal with this subject in a fairly serious manner before I have a bit of fun with some of the people I don't like. So, one thing I really want to make clear is when I talk about dealing with online bigotry or negative behaviour generally, I am seriously talking about how to deal with it on a personal level, not how the people instigating the behaviour should be dealt with. I'm not talking about punitive measures against racists, sexists, bigots, haters of any type. I don't really go into that for two reasons. First, these people are morons and I don't think it's possible to change their behaviour. Second, any punitive negative measures have a nasty tendency to backfire. They end up being used against you. You have all the best intentions of, hey, I'm all for free speech, but these people are just bad, so I'll only shut down the bad people. It always gets twisted and used against you. And speaking as someone who's more than a tad controversial, I suspect I'd be on the receiving end of punitive measures, so I'm not a big fan of them. A secondary point is I often say, haters suck, I don't give a shit about them. And then I get moron comments of, no, if you don't care, why do you talk about it all the time? It's like, you really do care. No, those videos are never for the haters. They're never for the bigots, the racists, the homophobes, the sexists. It's for the people who feel like they're on the receiving end of that behaviour. Just to give people a bit of a message of solidarity, to let them know they're not alone. Not everyone is equally as confident dealing with that sort of thing. So I just like to send out supportive messages to people who are on the receiving end of this sort of rubbish. And that's what this is all about. So what do I think you should do about intolerance online? Whatever suits you. Just remember, it is never about the person making the sexist, racist, homophobic, bigoted comments. It's never about them. Their opinion doesn't matter at all. It's all about you and what you're comfortable with. Never feel like you have to respond to these people. If you're like me and you find it to be fun to have a go at them, go ahead and do it. But because these people will often make comments saying, you have to engage them, you have to debate, you have to allow them their freedom of speech. You don't have to allow them anything. They can go off and make their own videos. Feel free to never respond to them, to block them, to delete their comments, to not accept video responses. It is not your responsibility to give other people a platform. You need to be true to yourself, because these morons will never have any sort of integrity. I've always been a fan of the RID principles espoused by Pipistrello. I won't repeat them here, but I will give a link to his video where he put the idea of how to just suppress this sort of stupidity by not responding to it, essentially. As you may tell, it's not necessarily how I roll, but I reserve the right to cut people out, to stop responding to them, to stop allowing them to make comments, and to delete comments they already made, whenever I feel like it. It always amuses me when someone else thinks they have the right to dictate how I have to react to them. In one of the earlier videos on intolerance, when I suggested deleting comments if you feel like it, I did have one person who'd subscribed recently go off their tree a little saying I wasn't allowed to do that. And if I was going to be like that, they'd unsubscribe. I told them to fuck off. I think I said that literally in the comment. Fuck off, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. And that's the risk you run, of course. If you make a decision, there's always repercussions. But I'm all for not letting yourself get hurt. If you make the decision, people can be as abusive and cruel as they want to be, you're the one who's going to suffer the pain. So yeah, if you delete comments or block people, maybe less people will end up watching and commenting on your videos. But your sanity's probably worth more than that. Now, when I talk about not actively advocating for people to be banned and have extremely punitive measures made against them, that's just me. You don't have to follow what I say. If you want to form a group of people who go around trying to get particular people banned, that's up to you. Like I said, my reason for not doing that is fairly self-interested, because I think it would only be a matter of time before I was on the receiving end of that sort of thing. But it comes down to what works for you. Don't let the people who are antagonizing you set the rules. You set your own rules. These people, they really don't count for shit. Alright, my light is fading. I was all set for a nice sunset when the sun went behind a fairly heavy bank of clouds, so it's getting a little dark for me to continue in this location. I'll just round off by saying what I've said all along. It's up to you what you do, but you do it on your terms for your reasons. If you're happy to let people have open slather, say whatever they want, be as full on as they want, good for you, go for that. If you want to limit the amount of comments people can make, that's completely valid as well. If you're not having a good time, you're not going to keep going. So don't let other people tell you what the rules are. It's your channel, the rules are what you say. One last thought. These people aren't going to change because they enjoy being jerks and they enjoy getting a rise out of people. So just don't make them part of your world. Stick with people that you can actually get on with. You don't have to agree with everything people say, but you don't have to be obnoxious when you disagree either. So create your own world with your own rules and don't let other people dictate to you. Plus, you know, if you ever want a hand dealing with someone, drop me a line. It's always good for a laugh. Catch you next time, people.